Don't talk about it, be about it.
Dude, I swear, brother. You keep
What do you
running your mouth.
Why I oughta.
Give me the door. Ah. Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
Ah, I forgot to stop and get a ton of mistletoe.
Did you know that you can... Did you know Deck the Halls goes really well with AC/DC War Pigs?
Yeah, I heard the...
Tis the season to be jolly.
I heard the mashup on TikTok.
What up, Lane? What are you doing?
Up?
Talk to me.
I am gonna get this transfer case taken off so we can put our beefy boy Atlas.
Ooh. Hello.
Oh, it's actually not terrible.
Dude, throw that thing around, man. You strap it down before it flies away. You know what I mean?
It's not that light.
Oh, okay.
It's light, but not that light. It's not like our factory RC car stuff.
We have an addiction, guys. It's it's not healthy. It's not healthy.
Going from the all-wheel drive to just a regular transfer case in theory. We will have to do some other funny stuff, but now that we've done a couple of these now, so it's kind of known to us. If you do it at home, you will have to get like a regular 3.6 TCM controller to be able to get all the lights off the dash and for it to act proper. So there's the adapter plate, and then that'll get all bolted up, and then this will...
Oh, you get new tail housing? Oh, this thing. Oh, okay. I get it now.
Then that slides on, will bolt to that plate, and then the Atlas will go onto this plate. This one,
My gosh, brother. What is that? Is that just rock? Polished rock?
So they say I only have enough bolts for the new hardware to attach this to the adapter plate, and they tell me to use the factory on this except for that one, but as you see, I'm hitting that bolt and I'm off that much.
According to Lane, I'm not calling anybody out yet. According to Lane, though, they have you use all the factory hardware to mount this adapter plate. Well, when doing that, you run into a clearance issue with this bolt here. So rather than freak out and worry about it, we're just going to trim a little bit of that off. The better option would have been for Advanced Adapters to send us like a Allen head type bolt there, but it's okay. You sure this is the factory hardware?
That's what I just took out. If it's not, then we got a problem.
Yeah, so we're just going to trim that. I don't see why that would cause any issues. We're just going to, doesn't need much, right? Yeah, I mean,
no.
What, less than a half inch?
Yeah, and I mean, the hole's so far in, I don't think it'll put
Atlas
stress.
do better. Or Advanced Adapters, rather, do better. Anyway.
Or like beginner adapters.
Whoa! Don't hate us.
Like a glove. What you gotta check? Grab half.
Heavy.
I don't care if it's not that heavy. It's just.
Oh God, it's pretty heavy. Where are you going?
Over here.
Oh my gosh, I can't do this.
You guys are doing a great job. Great job.
I was hung up.
At least it's not full of fluid and gonna leak all over me this time.
Forgot about that. Harder. Faster.
What do you want it? About there?
I don't know.
Is that like a TV show from mid-2000s or something? Wiggles?
What?
What? No, that was Teletubbies, and you watched them, I know.
No, that was early, or late 90s, early 2000s. And yes. Maybe.
Get it. Yank it.
I got that one. Don't blow a gasket.
I may have to grab the cherry picker and grab it from right here. Not everyone can be tall like you, okay?
You're still shorter than me. You're standing on. Are you ticklish?
Go ahead. The hook may be caught on the forklift, by the way.
What? I'm so stressed out right now. Don't you talk to me.
I'm so scared right now.
I'm so scared right now. Our contraptions are married. They don't. We're so bad at this. All right.
Go team.
Now we gotta get it in. Look at that. Yeah. What was that? What was that?
I don't know.
Go on.
Ta-da.
All right, so the Atlas is in, made it up to the transmission, and it's sitting on the OEM mount. So what we're gonna do now is lower the body and see how much room we got to work with between the top of the trans and Atlas and the body.
There's quite a bit of room around everything. What are you thinking?
You don't want to know.
Okay.
Is this a good location for control arms? Is this a good location, you know, really just for control arms? That's really all I care about. I think it'll be okay. Our front control arms might be just a tad longer than normal, but I don't think that'll affect anything, especially having a little longer strut.
Are you still thinking about trying to shove it up just a little bit, or just leave it where it's at?
Well, the only reason I don't want to shove it up, I want to flat belly it, but I have to think about the e-torques and what we do with that battery.
Yeah. And if we shove that up on this one,
Then
the battery will be the lowest thing hanging then.
Right. Yeah. Whereas if we leave it where it's at, I'll get some measurements and pictures off of mine tonight and see where that battery hangs.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could make the box that battery sits in a little bit shallower.
Snug it up a little bit.
I mean, it would probably be like flush with the bottom of this, but it would at least be tucked up out of the way.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry so much about exhaust. That well, yeah, we kind of do. So we're trying to make these.
So
we're trying to make a JL Super build work with a 392, a 3.6 e-torque, a 3.6 non-e-torque, and a 2-liter. So we're just trying to really think about everything as far as placement goes. Though it may work on the 392, it may not work on the e-torque, or it may not work on the 2-liter. So we're just really trying to do a lot of forethought and make sure that everything works with all of it, so we don't have to redesign a bunch of stuff. As far back as this is and as much exposure as this is going to have, if we can find a different oil pan for this, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you need to sit down and look. Because I've found a couple, but I want to make sure.
Then we need to build like a full skid, even if it's 2-piece, I guess, just for manhandling it. But overall, I like that. Let's let me look at this. Okay, so the next thing that we got to figure out is how we want to do our cross member. Do we want to mount it here and drill holes in the bottom of it to mount it like this? Or do we move it forward?
Where's the other creeper?
Enough to mount it on the back side, and then that would move that control arm mounts forward a little bit as well. So many decisions to be made.
All right, guys, pro tip. If you're doing this at home, we've got this cross member removed here that mounts to the transfer case, okay? So what we did, Lane's getting ready to cut this bracket off, but we measured from the ground to that seam there on the transfer case, right where X marks the spot, 26 inches. And then we measured from here to the frame, and is exactly 8 inches. That's with the cross member in and it bolted up in the factory position. So now we can take that cross member off, and as long as we can get it 8 inches from here, just in case this moves, okay? So if we get it 8 inches from here, 26 inches from the ground there, the transfer case is going to be in the same spot as factory. But I know what you're asking. What if your frame moves throughout the, month that you're working on it? Well, what you do is you measure from the ground to a spot on the front of your frame, and you make sure you want to level out your frame. So then you go ground, and we went to the top line of this bracket here, 37 3/4 on both sides. And then in the rear, it was leveled, and then from the top line of the hitch to the ground, 34 inches on both sides. So that way, just in case your frame moves while you're building, you can set it back up to the spot, the same spot it was in when you took your measurements for the transfer case. So that way when you build your new cross member, if anything gets moved, you know where everything goes. Pro tip.
I know sometimes life can be tough, and you feel like you just had enough. When you're thinking everything is gone wrong, just remember that I'm here to cheer you on.
So we've been outsourcing some 3D printing stuff lately, and I do it on my spare time, free time, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because you have one at home and you print a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I just have a cheap Amazon, like Ender 3, little upgrades here and there. But I started using this software when I found out about it, and me and Rob were talking, and we finally got ourselves our own 3D printer for here. Well, since this, you don't want to be sitting there measuring with tape measures and something be off or whatever. So I'm gonna design and print essentially a template that we can slide over the end of the cross members, mark everything, drill holes, and then cut it. Streamline everything, because once we cut it, we can just heat that little piece, bend it, weld it, be done.
So what software is this?
This is Shaper. So this is what we're going for. Your 2x4 tubing will slide through there. Mark your cut surface. Mark your cut. You can drill your holes. Put it into the slicer.
It fits just. Or
Just.
did you make it to where it fits?
I did that on 100% accident. I didn't think about the length.
Because, I mean, if you had to, you could shorten it on that one
Yes,
end.
yes.
So that's the bed of our printer that we have. Rotated, yeah, what the heck. You just clicked send to our printer way over there. So it just went to the satellites thousands of miles away, then just to beam back instead of just going.
And then we can sit here and
Oh yeah, and we got a live feed of our printer.
it's got the lasers and the beep boops.
Oh wow, that is cool.
I had a light button last night.
Cool.
It says 7 hours and 30 minutes.
I don't know how you would.
Oh my gosh. It's doing things. It's got a little nubby. Oh, it's getting it off. Look, it's self-cleaning. It's got its own wet wipe delivery system. Yeah, so he's looking at a live view so he can check it because it's a 7-hour print. We won't be here. So he can check it on his phone tonight. That's so cool. Oh, there it goes. It's printing. All right, well, we'll see you in 7 hours.
I thought you were doing it like fully boxed in.
5 minutes after you left last night. Yep. Well, so if you see this side, it's all flat, nice, looks real good. Look at this side, it looks like something happened. Well, it's because something did happen. We assumed we had enough filament.
So it just stopped printing.
Just stopped.
90% of the way.
Which the printer is smart enough. It just was like, okay, I give up. I ran out. But then this morning, I think because of how long it sat there idle, it didn't want to act right with me, which it's a brand new printer. I've never used that printer exactly. So it's still a learning curve on my part. Tried to get it to accept filament. It wouldn't. When it finally did accept it, it tried to print without filament coming out. So then it moved up to the next layer. And then the filament started to try to come out, so it wouldn't adhere to it because it was one little layer above it. And these printers, like, if you look, you can't see any lines. Like, it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, on camera it would be hard to see, but with my eyeballs, it's very smooth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
it looks like a mass-made injection molded piece of plastic. Like, it looks very clean.
Yeah. So I decided to just stop it. I'm going to redesign it real quick. I already have it almost redesigned. And I'm going to make it simpler, easier, and use less filament so we don't run into this issue.
Yeah.
Because after we get this made, it's saved on the printer, saved in our systems. So if we lose it, it breaks, whatever, we could just walk over to the computer, hit start, and it'll print a new one for us.
Yeah, because we only had, half a roll of filament
to
do this, and we thought it was enough, and it's not. But anyways, this is the idea. Yeah.
So the original idea was you just take it and slide it over. You line this flat edge up with your top. Sharpie, paint pen, whatever your line. That's a 9/16 hole. So you could just take your drill bit, do 2 little starting holes. You Sharpie this or paint pen. You take it off, and
then that notch is for this to bend up.
Yeah.
The bottom you won't cut, just the sides and
Because
the top there.
So if you look over here on the frame, we always do a bolt in for our transmission mount just so it's easier. If you welded that in, no way to get it back out.
Yeah.
You ever have transmission issues? Well, sucks to be you, nerd. So we try to make it simple, easy. You could actually work on it now. And I think we have come to the conclusion we're going to do that with our rear cross member too on this one, just to help like T-case maintenance, transmission, whatever need be. Because once you take both these out, you have all this room. But with that piece, we can actually reproduce it every time and not have to sit here and measure and waste valuable time. Yeah, you have to wait for it to print. You have to wait however long it takes, but that is time saved on the next one.
Yeah.
And down the road.
And if it had enough filament, it would just print overnight when we're not here.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Cool.
This is our first time trying to make a jig for any of our stuff out of 3D, so it's all a learning process. So even though it's not a complete jig, I can still use it just enough to get all my lines, measurements, whatever I need. Because with these holes, I could tap my 9/16. I could just give me a little mark, and then on this one I'll have to measure it. Do me 2 little center lines on the other side, so I can make sure they're straight, no interference, no nothing, and go from there. like a glove. You want to touch that, Ricky?
I don't. Get
Come
that away
on.
from me. I know this game. Hey, Ricky, touch it. Hey, it's not hot. Hey,
See, watch. See?
it tastes good. Lick it.
The wasabi pea, that was...
Yeah, that was messed up.
I'm sorry. Well, hey, come help me real quick.
Where the bolt's at?
Dude, perfect.
All right, now we got to do the same thing to the other side. You guys want to see a magic trick? That was easy.
Very easy.
If only it could always be like that. Just wave my hand.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Ow! God dang. Lights out.
That's the hot side.
Well, why'd you give me the hot side? Yeah, all the bolts fit perfectly. We didn't have to waller any of them out or anything.
Not all of that is...
No one's
messy.
perfect, Lane. It's okay. It's our first time. Literally.
Doing anything. Ever.
We need that banner. Just back here. It's our first time.
So, we're going to try to utilize this factory mount. So what we're going to do is figure out where they need to go, make a couple marks. We're going to drill a hole from the top side that's just big enough for the stud. And then on the bottom side, we're going to cut probably about a 2-inch hole and sleeve it to give the strength back, but we still got to keep it big enough for the nut and washer combo they use to go on. So much work, so hard.
Good call on the mag drill, my guy. This is what we bought when we were working on the RV. Drilling all the holes in the frame for it. Yeah, all your batteries are dead. You ever heard of a charger?
Have you ever heard of a charger? I have charged the batteries.
Apparently not. What's that big do right there? Look at that.
She's dead too.
I'm looking at 3 dead batteries right now.
Oh, here it is.
What's that one? 50%?
It's full.
I'm proud of
That's-
you.
that's 4.
You've got 1 out of 4.
There's 2
If you
over.
put, they're not charging right there. Ah.
You see that? Now you take it.
Mop. You hear that? Tinnitus is a thing, Lane.
Yeah, ha ha ha, grown-ups. Keep moving your lips without... Well...
Can I help you? Crossmember's welded up, so that's where the factory transmission crossmember will go. These nuts fit perfectly down in there, so that's pretty good. Lane's gonna do a little cleanup on it and then get it under the Jeep and get everything mounted, and that crossmember will be done. Then we can move on to the rear section of the crossmembers, figure out if we're gonna tie these together, tie them to the how we're gonna do all the tie-ins. Like I've stated before, with the JL frame being so much thinner, I really want to give it all the opportunity to be supported and not rip it apart and get a phone call from the customer going, half my Jeep's on the trail still. So we got exhaust in so we can kind of figure out, I know it sounds silly, but you know, you got to think about all this stuff. We're not even anywhere near close to ready for exhaust, but you got to think about where is it going to go in respect to everything else. So these are the mufflers we're going to use. It's going to go somewhere in here, obviously not that close to the transfer case, but somewhere in this general area on both sides. So I think with the cross members being as low as they're going to be, we're going to have plenty of room for this. The cat will wind up being somewhere in here. We're not 100% sure. Once we start working on front suspension, we'll start focusing more on that. But the next step is to get this cross member in. I think we've got everything cut out and bent for this. I think we know exactly where the cross member is going to go. We just got to get it done. We got to decide if we're. No, we already decided. Never mind. Take that back. We're bolting it in like we are the front, but it's also going to get some sort of tie-in to the frame. So we still got to work all that out. So.
All right, guys. So, if you look here, Crossmember's in. It's done. It doesn't have all the weight of the transmission stuff on it right now because if you look here, it's just held on with clamps right now. Got some jigs made. Seem to work really well.
Oh, wait. We didn't show them. Stay there.
Oh,
Stay
yeah,
there.
we got to show them V2. So, you remember the one we showed you earlier? Well, this is version 2. Still waiting on some filament, so that's why it's 2 colors.
We're down to the weird colors now.
I got to thinking, I was like, man, if we make it where it slides on and off, if we paint pin it, it's going to wear the paint off. So, you just boop, put your clamp on it, mark your lines, mark your holes, cut it. We're also making one to help with our drilling of holes for our mount.
Oh, that's what's printing over there?
That's what's printing
Gotcha.
over there. It's probably not needed. Probably a little overkill, but if we get someone new in here, me and Rob are doing something different and we need them to make a cross member, they have all the tools at their disposal to make one. So on the next video, you'll probably see us working on, I have these plates all bent up, ready to go.
I just hit my head on the
Will
lift
you
again, no big
quit?
deal.
The plate's ready for here. It's gonna have this same bracket, possibly. We don't know if we're gonna do another cross member to match this one back here or not, since that's where our skids mount. It'll have the same shape, if anything, but it may just be a weld-in piece. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, hit us up on the socials. Facebook, Instagram. Do we have a TikTok? Yeah, we have a TikTok. Hit us up on the TikTok, wherever you want to find us. Any questions, you can call, you can comment. We'll make Rob comment back with you. Well, whoever you want to talk to. You want to talk to Mike? Come back for the next video.
I'm proud of you, you know that.
And peace out.